Yeah, make sure you turn your volume and phone down, good brother.
All the way down
Yes, sir.
to zero.
All the way down. Yes, sir. Okay, waiting for the folks come in. Wait, and of course my cat as always jumps in here to get her time on camera as always. All right, let the folks come in. All right, all right, all right, all right. Another beautiful night on on this um this planet. Floating around the galaxy. You know, again, like I always say, people try to fearmonger and say it's a bad time to be alive. But it's far from it. Accept the contract that you did coming here because we are living in a beautiful time. And a part of this beautiful time tonight is the episode, a melanated music episode. All right. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Like I say always, we are here to uplift humanity, but we are also here to spread the love. You know what I'm saying when it comes to music. And right now we have a beautiful guest, beautiful human being in front of us on the other end and on the other end, and we're gonna talk to him and learn some more, Mr. David Wild. Polka Dot Rabbit. If you haven't already, of course, please go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com. Pick up my book. People always ask me, Zosa, why such diversity in your show? Why do you have so much different guests? How do you talk about music and all that stuff and stuff? Read the book, and it explains all of that. That's enough for me, and I'm gonna go ahead and let the good brother, Mr. David Wild, go ahead and introduce who he
Hey,
is, what he is. Yes, sir.
before we start, I have like an echo that's like a long echo.
Oh yeah, the back. It might be the
It's
phone
like
itself.
3 seconds.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. But I think it might be the Is the volume down on your phone all the way?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So okay.
Was that it?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So go ahead, my brother. Tell the folks who you are. What you got going on, man. Thank y'all, everybody, for chiming in as well. Thank you.
It's still doing it, but I'll try to ignore it.
I hear it
it's
too.
it came like 4 seconds later. All right, hey, I'm David Wild of Wild Peach, and I'm hearing myself laugh 3 seconds after I laugh and shit. So, and I'm here with Zosa, and I'm just ready to be provoked by his questions.
Indeed, yeah. I like the way that I like the way you said that. It's interesting because off camera me and David was just I was just telling him that a lot of
Hey,
people don't
but
think that
before we
go ahead.
continue, though, I mean the echo is like it comes in loud in my headphones. I don't know what to do about
Okay.
it.
Um.
So it's like I can't really hear your question because I'm hearing the previous shit just as loud.
Oh. Okay. Um. I'm not sure what we can do about that. I can. Maybe I could try to possibly mute mine when I'm not talking. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can work it out, but not really sure how we can fix it because I don't know how bad it is on your end because it doesn't sound that bad on my end. So, but can you hear me though?
I hear you just get confusing because when I'm talking back, then I'm hearing the shit I said
Okay, I got you. I got you.
way before.
Yeah, way before. All right, we work it out. Sorry, y'all. We got a little echo, but we gonna work it out. We gonna work it out. But what I was saying earlier is like me and David, we were talking. He was just like, I don't got a lot of stuff to say, but some of these people are so interesting. You know what I'm saying? They just don't have their story brought out there. So he's one of these cats that I love to speak to just because like the more you dig, the wilder, no pun intended, it gets. You know what I'm saying? So first question, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know that you used to be a big time football, well, all sports star, football player. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know how much all star you really mean, but I did, play quarterback growing up, and I was good. And I played all the sports, to be honest. So this is really testing my concentration skills. I might have good skills at ignoring shit, but so I'm getting tested right now by hearing myself talk back at myself. All right. But yeah, I grew up pretty much an athlete. I didn't really have a lot of musicians to play with, or really none at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I tell people, I grew up in East Texas, and I never really had any, a bunch of problems growing up. And I don't know if it's because I was good in sports, because I was always welcome into a lot of stuff. I mean, like the rednecks used to come pick me up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
What?
and another thing, I grew up in a small town where everybody, I mean, the people you were in the first grade with, you may have graduated with. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't know you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all they know is what they saw every day. So they couldn't just make up shit. I mean, they could, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody, really knew each other because we grew up together.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, you grew up together. You play sports with together. All the people, they went to the sports game. They all saw, David Wild was the star quarterback. So I guess that kind of gave you a pass in a certain ways for, get some other, you know what I mean. It could have went other ways for in other situations. Um.
Well, it helped that the brother that was 4 years older than me,
Mhm.
he played quarterback and was
Mhm.
good in sports. So really, they kind of expected me to do the same thing he did.
Mhm.
So it's really like I pitched in Pee Wee League because he was a
Mhm.
pitcher in Little League. But I
Mhm.
mean, I could
Mhm.
pitch though. I mean, I had a good arm. So
Mhm.
and then I had older brothers. My older brother is 10 years older than me.
Mhm.
So I used to play against them. So my competition was easy when I got to school because I played against my
Yeah.
older brothers.
Yeah. 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 You already grinding. So okay. So you were. So what? Let's move forward a little bit. Did you after you? This is high school. Did you go to college at all, or?
Uh, well, when I graduated high school, I was offered scholarships to play football
Mhm.
and mostly to play like I know to play quarterback. I play like safety and cornerback and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
could have went to college to play football, and I was also a McDonald's All American my senior year in high school in basketball.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
the only regret, I mean, I could have went to Texas A&M probably, but they were like, "We're gonna put like 30 pounds, on you and all that kind of shit." I was like, I don't want to be that fucking big. So
Mhm.
the one I kind of regret was I was offered scholarship to play football and basketball at Texas Southern and major in music.
Mm.
So I didn't do that, but I ended up going to a junior college, Tyler Junior College in East Texas, and I majored in music. 2 years I went there, and my major was actually I played bass growing up. So
Oh, okay.
the first band I played in was it was a guitar player who broke away from a blues act. So dude named ZZ Hill.
Mm.
So he was his guitar player, and he started his own band, and he had a audition in the paper. So I went and auditioned, and
Mhm.
I became his bass player. So that was the first band I played in. I was like 18, and then I started going to college, and then in college I played upright bass and cello and shit like
Oh,
that.
okay. Oh wow. And was how was music put into your life? Was it something like your parents had around you all the time, or like how was music because how did it become such a love of your life?
Just listening to records, and there was a guitar at the house my dad played, but it wasn't like in tune or anything. He just
Yeah, it was
it
just
was.
there.
I mean, he made music with it, but it's not like what he did. And I
Hmm.
would mess with it every now and then. And there was a piano in the house. My mother played piano some, and she sung in church. So I have a twin sister, and me and my twin, we took like piano lessons when we were, young.
Hmm.
So there was a piano at the house I would, play with. Then my oldest brother Henry bought me a guitar probably when I was probably in junior high.
Hmm.
That go stop. All right. When I was in junior high, I thought, and he bought the guitar, my first guitar, because he guess he got tired of me like acting like I was playing on brooms and shit like that.
Hmm.
So, but I grew up listening to music, and it was a soul radio station there called in Tyler, Texas, called KZEY Soul Radio. So I just listened to music all the time, and when I got old enough to make some money and buy my own records, I bought like every album that came out, and
Mm.
then I really then my older brother also bought me a bass because I wanted to play bass instead of
Hmm.
guitar growing up because
Hmm.
all the people that I listened to, all the funk bands. I mean, I'm old enough. I grew up in the '70s, so all the
Hmm.
funk bands when I was young,
Hmm.
they it was the bass players that were known, like Louis Johnson and
Yeah, yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Markham Slave and
Hmm.
Larry Graham, and it's just the
Hmm.
bass players were known, and that's what stood out. So I wanted a bass, then Bootsy came out and all that kind of shit, and I wanted
Hmm.
the envelope, and the Mutron
Hmm.
sound and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So that was my main instrument, and actually I'm trying to get back in that mode more recently, just cause I mean I should have thousands of bass lines because that's what
Yeah,
I grew up doing, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
just haven't
yeah,
been
yeah.
in that mindset.
So now, was there anybody, any specific band or any specific sound that just grabbed you? You're like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I want to sound like. This I want to do. Was any specific groups like that or individuals that snatched you up like that?
All right, I'm struggling a little bit because I'm hearing myself talking about the bass line just then.
Uh,
So, but I tell people all the time my favorite artist and songwriter of all time is Sly.
mm,
So Sly and the Family Stone was my favorite artist
mm-hmm,
pretty much of all time, and
mm-hmm.
growing up, I listened to all the soul stuff, and when I was, I don't know if you hear what I hear, but I was influenced by all the soul, soul shit. And then my oldest brother, he had eclectic kind of record collection. So he had like Santana and Grand Funk Railroad and obscure kind of artists. So I would hear his albums and then all the soul stuff. So that's that was my influences. 70s funk.
Sandy's Funk. So were you able like when you were talking about Bootsy Collins and everything. So did you ever get a chance to see? So did you go to like to go to these shows live, like see, Parliament live? Did you used to like how did you used to go see these people live with yourself, or did they were you a
Well,
show
like I said,
goer?
I grew up in Tyler, Texas, so it wasn't to go see a lot of the concerts. You have to go to Dallas, which is like 100 miles away. but some of those bands did come to Tyler. And so the first band I ever saw live was shit, it might have been Brothers Johnson. It was Brothers Johnson and Confunction. They all like came together. It was like Confunction and Brothers Johnson. And I think it was Slave too. So that's the first concert I ever saw.
And what was your reaction afterwards?
I mean, I like, oh shit, that's what I want to do. But the thing is that I didn't have anybody around to do that with. So I was just playing with myself with records. I didn't really play with other people until I got to college. And then even in college, like I say, the first band I played in was with the blues guitarist who started his own band. And we pretty much just did like funk and blues kind of shit.
And so in dealing with that, I'm assuming you got your chops up. You learned a lot. Learning how to how bands work together. How was that experience? You know what I'm saying? Like with those first bands, and what did you really learn that started like taking you in a direction like doing stuff yourself?
I think I heard what did I learn is that first of all, the band I played in, I was like 18 and everybody else was like in their mid 40s and shit. So they were they had been playing a long time. So I was like a little kid. And we played like shit, real live, some Color Purple juke joint kind of shit places, in East Texas, like in Palestine, Texas, and
Mm-hmm.
places
Chitlin
off.
Circuit.
Exactly. Shit, it was more than a chicklet. It was more than that. But
Ham hock circuit. Okay, so
it
it
was
sounds
definitely
like
that. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
played somewhere where the stage was, the plank was falling apart and shit, and all kind of shit.
yeah.
But I mean, it was fun though, and like I said, I learned a lot, and that was my first, that was my first action.
But it sounds like if you were 18 and you sitting around a bunch of 40-year-olds that have been playing for music a while, you were getting schooled, and the masters were, giving you the tools, the secrets, and all the good stuff of is that a good is that true?
I mean, I knew the parts and shit. Like I said, I played bass with them, but I mean, I knew the guitar parts too because I was listening some of the shit we was playing. I had learned already. Listening to records. So I mean, I learned that some a bunch of crazy motherfuckers in the music business. That's all I learned.
At least you learned that at an early age, man. At
And I
least you
know
know.
that the guitar player, I'm like the guitar player. He was like, he had a conch like James Brown,
Okay.
and he was I just know he had a fine ass woman, and I'm like, he only had this woman because this nigga played his guitar,
Yeah.
and I was
And the
like,
conch,
shit, that's a
and the
good enough
conch,
reason right there,
yeah, and he can play guitar. You can't go
huh?
wrong with that combination. I
Oh
said
yeah,
the
he had a,
conch.
he had a, he had his hair straightened, and he he had a jumpsuit on with bell bottoms and shit.
Oh damn, Black Elvis. So all
No,
right, so
he was
you.
like the James Brown in the '70s when James Brown had
Oh,
the
okay,
jumpsuits on. He had the jumpsuit
gotcha,
on.
gotcha,
Actually,
gotcha.
now that I think about it, it was just like that.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
and a
all right,
fine ass woman
so
that he didn't
mhm,
have no business with.
yeah. I hope y'all taking notes, y'all. If y'all musicians out there on how do you get the women jumpsuits and conks. You know what I'm saying? So how did
I didn't do that though.
yeah, yeah. You never had a conk? You never went through the conk phase? Like the 80s and straight hair?
No, no. I mean, I was no, I was Shit, I had a perm in my hair and I straighten that shit sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I ain't
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a real haircut since I was in junior high.
Okay.
As far as somebody taking me to a barber and say, "Nigga, we cutting your hair any kind of way we feel like."
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
never
yeah,
happened
yeah.
after junior high.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got
I was hiding and shit in the closet.
you. Avoiding it by all means necessary.
Oh yeah, on Sunday
Um.
it was haircut day, and one day I hid in the closet like all day.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know where the fuck I
You
was.
ain't getting me.
Yeah.
All right. So you get this experience in Texas, and how did you end up in Atlanta?
Well, I left East Texas when my oldest brother came to visit from Houston. Both of my brothers went to University of Houston and were living in Houston at that time that I was playing with the band. And he was in town one day and said, what am I doing? And I was like, I ain't really doing shit. So he said, you can come stay with me. So I got all my shit and got in his car. And my mother, she asked me, where you going? And I said, I'm going to Houston with my brother. And she said, when you coming back? And I was like, I don't know. I'm moving. So that's how I moved to Houston. And I stayed with my oldest brother. And then I was in Houston 5 years. I ended up meeting Peach in Houston when she was had a show with somebody at a fashion show. And another lady I know, a fashion designer named Deborah Powell, called me from Dallas and said the fashion show had taken her clothes and she was gonna come pick me up to go help her get her clothes back because she was mad that they used her clothes and didn't give her a plane ticket. So she drove from Dallas and picked me up. We went to the fashion show. She got her clothes. They never did the show, but she saw Peach there, and they recognized each other from junior high, and that's how I met Peach. And she came to since they didn't do the show, we kind of hung out that night, and they came to the department I was in with my brother, and I had recorded my own project.
Mm-hmm.
And I let her hear my project, and then I played some shit on my little keyboard, and I'm hearing myself talk back. It's still confusing, but
I know.
I
But you
played her
got
some songs, and she wanted me to write her some songs, and then she had me come to Dallas, and then that's how we got started. We recorded like 3 songs that I wrote, and then we liked what we did, and then we came back about a few months later. Then I came back to Dallas, and then recorded about 7 songs. Then eventually I moved there because there was a scene in Dallas called Deep Ellum that catered to original music. And Houston, there was really nowhere to play your own songs, even though it was a big ass city.
oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So when I was visiting, we would go hang in Deep Ellum. So Deep Ellum was kind of bohemian, white kid kind of area at
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's still kind of like that maybe, but I hear it's not. But actually, the band called Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians was
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in that area. She ended up marrying
Okay.
Paul Simon, but they were one of the
Yeah.
bands down there and some other bands. And that's where we started at the place called the Profit Bar. We played our first gig,
Mm-hmm.
and then at that time I went ahead and moved to Dallas, and we started
Mm-hmm.
Wild Peach.
So okay, I didn't know. I didn't know why Pete started in Dallas. I did not know that. Okay, so
Well, I
how
mean, we
was that?
met
Was
in Houston, but I moved to Dallas. And then
uh
I stayed with her, and then we worked on music, and then she wanted to record, and she wanted me to, help her. So, I just wanted to. So we recorded, about 7 songs. We started playing around town, and we started playing deep Ellum, playing our own songs. So that's how she convinced me to, one way she convinced me to come to Dallas, because it was like, I got songs I'm writing, I want to go play them somewhere. So they had a place she
What
could
what
do
ti
that.
what time we talking? Like, was this early '90s, late '80s? What time we talking?
This was in the late 80s.
Oh, late '80s. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Then eventually
So,
started getting different bands and start playing around Dallas. We had different bands, different musicians we would use. Because the first we just started, it was just me and her.
mm,
And then I had a homeboy come up. Brazil came up, and we were like a trio for a while. And then
mm.
eventually we were back to a duo. And then eventually though, we got a full band and started playing and stirring up shit. Then we got a developmental deal with Capitol Records. Then we eventually signed a deal with Capitol Records. And then that's how we ended up in Atlanta, working with some producers out of Atlanta. We had a choice of the producers in Atlanta or the producers. It was the other one was Massive Attack out of Europe.
Mhm.
But we didn't really want to go to Europe because the record company, they didn't want to use, they wanted to get rid of our band. They said, we can get y'all any kind of band. But we were
Yeah,
like, we
yeah,
already got a band. So we just said,
yeah.
we're going to go to Atlanta and we'll bring them down ourselves. So that's what we did.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I can see that. I completely see that. Um, keeping the tribe together. So, so like, so what's the next progression from there? You get a deal, the label. They're like, what's the next step? Y'all put out an album. What happened after that?
Nothing ever came out. I think it was the dude that signed Nirvana. Somebody took over the label. So they had a new chairman of the board, and actually they got rid of everybody except the person who signed us. But he didn't really have any power anymore. So we got out of that deal, and but we just eventually decided just to stay in Atlanta. And then we just started playing around town and started hooking up with different people.
So at that time, y'all got to Atlanta. What was the scene like? You know what I'm saying? What were the venues that y'all used to play? What was the scene looking like at that time?
I don't know what the scene was, but I know at that time, Fall for Now was like the black rock band that everybody was talking about in Atlanta, and that's the same time Living Color was out. And actually, the lawyer that we had that negotiated our deal was a lawyer who he said he got Living Color signed. So that was the other thing. We were always having trouble with the record company and the producers and all that kind of thing because they didn't. First of all, the main producer we were working with out of Atlanta, he was saying our sound was dead and saying that nobody wanted to hear any funk anymore and that kind of shit. And then lo and behold, the Chronic came out. So we were like, see, we told you you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. So
Yeah, I know that
then
happens a lot.
the whole sound that he said was dead became the sound again.
Yeah, the '90s. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Everybody, man. If
That we were on Capitol at that time when all that happened.
mm, okay.
Because at
So
first
okay, so
we wanted Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis to produce us, but that wasn't
hmm
in our budget, and
yeah,
we
yeah, I
wanted
figured
them
that.
because they had a bunch of hits and they came from a band, so we were like they will understand what we want to do when they ain't gonna be saying shit you saying. Because it wasn't many bands at that time. I mean, only black bands was like Mint Condition and Ready for the World and shit like that. I mean,
Yeah,
Lenny
it
Kravitz
wasn't nobody.
was out.
Lenny Kravitz, the early right. Um, hmm.
So that's another thing I tell everybody is like they will always say like, "Who's your audience?" And we would simply say, me and Peach would tell them, well, whoever like Prince and Tina Turner and Living Color and Lenny Kravitz. I mean, like that's a good enough audience. Shit, I would think.
Yeah, because
Well, if you heard of a
technically,
band called, I'm kind of got to talk over myself, but it was a group and producers named, you remember Family Stand? Well, they were one of the producers. We stayed in New York in Manhattan for a while, and they were the producers we were supposed to work with at first, but they were kind of having their own problems getting their own band, off the ground because they was complaining about that all the time when we were around them.
so because I know, see, I came to Atlanta in '99, and as soon as I came there, it took me. I didn't come there to really do the music thing. I didn't really start getting tapped into the music team until I met Larry, and Canito down at the IAG. You remember the IAG? And they turned me on to the scene in Atlanta. So, but I do remember hearing about Wild Peach and what was that place? And I seen y'all perform when I started coming out. I think there was a venue in the underground, right? Was it called the underground? Like in the under the underground, like a um that's the
You
first
talking
time I
about in
ever
the
saw
late
you.
'90s because
Yeah,
I
late
know
night.
the Cotton Club eventually moved to like the Tabernacle. It was a part of the Tabernacle, but we used to play at a place called the Vibe and Kaya, and of course the Cotton Club when it was on Peachtree.
Hmm.
We would play the Point, which was right at the point of the corner, right on Euclid and Little Five Points. Where that
Hmm.
clothing store is at the corner used to be a club called the Point. We used to play there.
What was that venue that was in the underground? Wasn't it a music venue in the underground at that time? Like the underground like across the street from underground train station. Because I swear I think I used to go to see music there when I first got there. The Point, is
Well,
that what somebody said? Peace. Look, Canito just showed up. We were just talking about you, Canito.
I'm trying to remember the place in the underground, but I think you talking about where Joy used to host.
Yes, yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
see, that was the 2000s.
Oh, it was
That was way
early
after.
2000s.
Like what you
Okay.
was probably getting at before was when it used to be like when I mentioned Falling for Now. Not long after that, it was like a lot of different black bands you probably never heard of
Hmm.
that never really broke out. But it used to be like 10 or 12, black rock or black alternative bands, and they would
Hmm.
have different, concerts and events that just cater to those bands, and we did a
Yeah,
lot of those events.
that makes
And
sense.
then
Somebody's saying the
even
same thing.
then what came up after that was then we hooked up with this dude named Will Griggs, and he started putting on events called Chocolate Soul,
Hmm.
and he would have us play on his events. And then after that, Funk Jazz Cafe sprung up, kind of in the same vein that the Chocolate Soul was like. And then
Sugar Hill.
we played some of the first Funk Jazz Cafe events with Jason.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember we did one at the Tabernacle, but
Yeah.
we didn't really continue. It wasn't really. He didn't really pay them. He didn't really pay anything, so we
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
really want to
Yeah.
keep doing that. So, but they became real big. But
Hmm.
but that was when a lot of different black bands. I mean, even one of the first bands we were around was Trina and Tommy. So
Hmm.
they had a band called I think Social Insanity.
Hmm.
Then of course they merged into Stereo Popsicle 9835 Human.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they were one that's still around.
Somebody put in the chat Sugar Hill. I think that's the one.
That's it,
Um.
Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you were
Yeah.
talking
That's
about in the
almost.
'90s, Sugar Hill, I don't know. I don't know if
This.
that
Yeah. It would
existed
have
in the
been two.
'90s.
No, it would have been. It would have been. I just got here in '99, so it had to be in the 2000s. Yeah, it had to be in the 2000s. But
Yeah,
that's when I
that was like the
saw
mid 2000s,
mid
probably
2000. Yeah. Yeah. Because I
2005
think.
or six or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Because like I was saying, after I met Canito and I met Larry and I went to the IAG. That's when I really started really, they kind of started pointing me out to different places, you know what I'm saying, where music was going on. And that's when I started, right about that time, that's when I started, getting a Mole 9 together and stuff. So yeah, that's so okay. So you're gigging around, Atlanta. You got this scene, you got your other tribe. It seems like your different tribes that are the Black Rockers doing their thing. So now my question is like, how did you all merge? Because I what's it like? What's the story between y'all getting y'all thing going on, and then all these people like Outkast and Goodie Mob? How did they all, How did you get involved with all of their music?
We were playing around town. I think we were playing at a venue called Vibe,
Hmm.
and I think that's the first time we met Joy.
Okay.
I remember meeting Joy, yeah, that night. That's the first time we ever met her. And then Joy and Peach became real tight friends. And then eventually, Joy was married to Gip at the time because I remember.
Hmm.
No, she wasn't married at the time, but Joy and Gip were dating because
Hmm.
we remember going to their spot. Then heard some of Goodie Mob stuff before it came out.
Mm.
And Joy was, she was working with Dallas at the time.
Okay.
But Joy is how we started meeting all of them through
Gotcha.
Peach hanging out with Joy, and then Peach going like to the dungeon, and then start singing background. Then some of them would
Mm.
come. Then they would come, check us out when we played. Just like it's a song called "Just About Over" that's on Goodie Mob's "Still
Yeah.
Standing."
Hmm.
We were playing that at a club off Peachtree. A song called "Just About Over." We playing our version,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I remember Gip came up after the show and said he wanted that last song we did. They want to do it. Goodie Mob want to do it. So that's how it ended up on "Still Standing."
Okay, so this if and this is still like a couple weeks a couple last week or so, I had Walt from Fishbone on here, and he was talking about the time they were down in Atlanta working with Dallas Austin, and Joy was on it and Peach was on it. So this is obviously around that same time, right? But
No, that came way after. That's when what I was mentioning is when we first hooked up with like
oh,
Organized
first,
Noise
gotcha,
and all that.
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha,
So
gotcha,
like that
gotcha.
was back when Cool Breeze shit came out because I played on about 7 his songs, and
Okay.
that's when Cool Breeze and Witch Doctor and all them was
Mm.
had their solo
Dun, dun,
records.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I remember
Because
that.
we even got me and Peach co-wrote a song with Rico called Ghetto Camelot on the Cool Breeze record.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Fishbone they came more in the 2000s. And but yeah, me and Peach, we used to play with Joy when she did her shows. I played guitar and Peach would, sing. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course, Peach and Joy, and at first it was Trina Meade, then it became
Mm-hmm.
this other lady, then it was Keisha Jackson, then there was a young lady out of Memphis named Stephanie Bolton. They were like, it would be a different, they would kind of alternate as far as being the other singer with Joy's group. It was like Joy, then Peach had her singing background.
Mm-hmm.
She had one of the other ladies singing background.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the three of them, they were gonna do a project with Organized Noize called Heroin.
Mm.
So I know they recorded
Okay.
one song, but that was pretty much all they did. But that was all at that time when I think Organized had their deal with Interscope,
Yeah.
and they were, putting out a lot of their own their artists that they had known for the years.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Little Will, he put
Yeah.
out that's when he had Looking for Nikki out. But we had a song called I Still Love You on his project. Actually, it was the first song I ever wrote. And it was the first
Okay.
song me and Peach recorded back in Dallas
Mm.
that we worked on. But it's on his project called I Still Love You. So,
Oh, okay.
but we were working with a lot of the dungeon artists at that time. And then started working, I know Peach would like her and Joy would do background singing on a lot of recordings and some
Mm-hmm.
live shows. So like I said, they became tight, and that's how, like I said, we met everybody pretty much through that connection.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Then
remember that. I
we used to
remember.
go to the dungeon all the time, and but we used to go to the dungeon a lot, then be at DARP a lot, because like I said, at that time Dallas was producing Joy,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you bring up Fishbone, that's when they came and Dallas produced that album that at that time, I don't know, it was a Chim Chim Bad Revenge or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Chim Chim. Yeah. The Fishbone joint.
And they
Yeah.
because on one of Joy's remakes records on her, she did a Betty Davis song called Take Me Home or If I'm Not Lucky. And Fishbone played the music on that record
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. I do. Oh,
at
yeah, I
DARP.
remember that. I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, I still always, man. I always like one of my favorite. One of my favorite songs on that Fishbone album was Nutmeg, and I just remember hearing those backing vocals, like singing on it. I was like, oh my god, they sound like angels. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, man. Like Joy, Peach, and oh man. So but you also, well, you're still in that same. So you are what? Well, let me ask you this: which albums from Goodie Mob and Outkast did y'all play on?
I played on like the second. I didn't play on the first album. Like I said, it was done when we first met them.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
like I said, the second album still standing. We
Mm-hmm.
got a song on that. Then I mean, I played on They Don't Dance No More.
Yeah.
So I was at the dungeon when now they happened. It might be on another song I played on. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember how that song came about. It was like well, maybe I shouldn't say, but it was like it was a Dream On sample was playing. So actually, I played Dream On first, and
Mm-hmm.
then they took that out. Then I started playing bum 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 bum. So that was my part. So but that was a cool time. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They
I
had the
wish I could put a
budget to
fly on
do
the wall.
whatever at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I can
like I said,
imagine.
the heroin project never came, and we never really did our own thing. We were still gigging around town or just doing gigs, but we never. It was just a lot of shit going on at the time. Because really, at that
Yeah,
time, I mean, during that time, Peach got diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was all kind of shit going on. It
yeah,
just nobody really knew.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we were just dealing with that and just
Mm-hmm.
trying to stay busy.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. So, well, I'm gonna pause for a second, because Dallas have the pit. You know what I'm saying? And I would like origins of the Peach Pit. How it the thought behind it, how it got there. How did you how I'm saying how did the
Say
Peach
that
Pit?
again.
Because and you can explain it to people don't um the origins of the Peach Pit, the origins of the Peach Pit.
Oh, that's where I'm at now. So it's just the
Mm-hmm.
basement in the house, and I mean after I don't know if we called it that before or not, but there's a mural of Peach on the door that Brazil got somebody to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started calling it Peach Pit.
Mm. Gotcha. Yeah, because I mean I remember the first time I went there and I just descended into the Peach Pit dungeon. Somebody's like, I remember it was Telly. Telly was like, "You got to go over here to the Peach Pit." I'm like, "What's Peach Pit?" I went down
You
there
said Telly.
and yeah, remember Telly with the
Oh,
hair?
oh, oh, that's how I
Yeah,
met you, ain't it? Right. All right.
yeah, that's how we met. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Telly was
I
like,
don't know if I hear.
come on." Yeah, no, I think he said he moved to t- uh, believe it or not, Dallas, somewhere in Texas. He said he was going
Oh,
somewhere.
I know
His
he's from
basketball
Houston,
social.
so yeah, I
Oh, he
think
went back home.
he may have went back home.
He went back home. Yeah. But that's what somebody said. Come. He said, "Come over here." Because he was cutting hair next door where I was staying. He's like, "Come to the Peach Pit." And I went one night, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just looking around. I was like, this is heaven. You know, I'm seeing Jimi Hendrix on the wall, Prince, you know what I'm saying? Outkast records, you know what I'm saying? Live music playing, some of the illest cats, you know what I'm saying? I met Dion Ferris there just one night. I'm just like, yo, it was like I've never seen, any place like that. You know what I mean? And I was just amazed by the Peach Pit and everybody just getting up there rapping, playing live music. Everybody, oh man, it was so beautiful, man.
Well,
Um,
it ain't quite been like that in a while. I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
Since the plague and shit, I mean,
yeah,
ain't nothing been the same.
the plague done slowed down
Yeah, the plague
a
fucked
lot of
up some
things,
shit.
huh? Yeah, we gotta get the Peach Pit back to live, man. We gotta get that
I mean,
place
I'll
back to
still be
live,
doing
man.
shit. I'll play by myself. I don't have the whole, it ain't that many people or the musicians around. I don't know where everybody is, or I don't be asking
Yeah,
people to do shit unless I'm paying them. So, I ain't,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but,
yeah, 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 yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, shoot, we played Nothing Up Atomic. We played there on one. That man, we had a blast, man. Man, that joint was
Oh,
off
yeah,
the chain.
you did that a couple times.
Yeah, yeah. I think we did a couple things over there. I think didn't we do the video release or something like? So, it was a bunch of
Yeah, I
things we
think you
did
did
there,
that too.
man.
I think you
Yeah,
shot a
yeah, yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah. Yep, yep. We had. All right. So, all right. How about this? Because I know you went on you toured. Who did you tour with out of all these different bands? Everybody, pretty much Outkast, just everybody.
Uh, I maybe did one show with Goodie Mob.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, at that time, I was playing pretty much all of Joy shows. So at that time, I was doing, Wild Peach shows and Joy shows, and then we started touring with. I started touring. Actually, the first show I did with Outkast was on Queen Latifah's show. So
Oh, okay.
I played on this song called High Schoolin', an Outkast song named High Schoolin' that was in a movie
Mm-hmm.
on a soundtrack. And just out of the blue, I got a call and they said they want you to come and play what you played on that song, on Queen Latifah show.
Yeah.
So it was Dre Big and Swift, the DJ, and me.
Mm-hmm.
So we the one did that was my first time playing with them. And then after that, the first tour I did with them was Stankonia.
Okay.
So that's when me and Peach, during that time, we pretty much played with them until, wasn't nothing going on. But
Mm-hmm.
from, Stankonia on, of course, Speaker Box Love Below, there was no tour.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and then, of course, I did the last, 20th anniversary tour.
Yeah. 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 I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I think I remember seeing. Oh, that's right. And you had your one joint at Stankonia that night. Remember when Brian was there? Um.
Uh, yeah, you're right. Man,
Yeah.
time, I don't know how
I
many
know,
years
right?
ago. Time
I
be
know.
fucking flying.
It's fine, man. I can't even think. It had to
I'm
be
still trying to put out the same
2017.
songs I probably played that night.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll
But
talk
I'm
about that.
about to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully, Well, that's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. Off air. But yeah. So that had to be what 2017 ish. Had to be at least eight. Yeah, 2015, 17 in that area. That's
Uh,
crazy, man. That's crazy, man. God damn. I'm
oh yeah,
glad.
time is like I don't know. It's like all I can say the sands are going through the hourglass at
That's
a
it. That's it.
faster
I know,
fucking
man.
pace.
Brian was just on here. Brian was just on here about a month ago. Now he's on tour. He's going like doing a a U.S. tour with some, K Camp or something like that. I don't know who he is, K Camp, but it looks like a really successful tour, man. He's doing a thing. It's like, that's
Yeah, I
one thing
think
I just
I
love.
saw him on IG, and I
Yeah,
mean he need to be playing somebody. I mean he badass.
I
So,
know, man. I know. So I
but I
thought,
don't know any of these new artists, so I don't know who the fuck
yeah, me
doing what.
neither. my wife, she was telling me, she was like, I was like, who's I said, who's Brian on tour with? And she was like, she started playing some songs with me. I was just like, I don't know, but he's doing his thing. So
I mean,
let's
I
support the
can't
good
tell
brother.
one person from another to be honest.
Nah, me
So
neither, man. Me neither. Not today.
everybody in music be sounding like the same person did it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know that's and it's kind of disheartening because that's not the way I grew up with music. You know what I mean? And it's changed so much. But
I mean,
on the flip side,
what year you
huh?
grew up? What
Say it
year you
again.
started listening to music when you saying? Because I wasn't, like I said, I was around in the '70s listening to music when I
Hmm.
was growing up, and like all the bands had their own ensembles and their own musicians, so
Hmm.
everybody they could have played the same song, but it wouldn't have been the same because you had a different bass player on each track, you had a different
Yeah.
guitar player, you had a different everybody. So everybody had their own kind of sound. Like Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't sound like Isaac Brothers and
Yeah.
P Funk, and didn't sound like
Yep. They're unique. Yeah. Yeah.
all the other bands. So
You s-
that's the difference between then and now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I grew up listening to music in the '80s, so MTV was, that's the thing that we were growing up. So I saw Def Leppard, I saw, Michael Jackson, I saw Devo. I just saw a different variety of music, and then hip hop came in. So that I had a whole bunch of different frames of reference. And then my parents, of course, they would listen to old soul music like when they around the house and stuff. So I had a whole plethora of different music. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I was an '80s baby, so I was heavily influenced by Michael, Michael Jackson, Prince. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess when you turn on
I mean, I
MTV,
definitely was. I just heard you say Michael Jackson and Prince, so
mhm,
I was definitely a Jackson 5 fan. Growing up.
yeah, hmm that was before me though.
Man, the only way I know you're not talking is because I'm looking at your face and see your mouth not
Oh,
moving. Though I hear your voice talking to me.
can you hear me now? Oh, you
No,
can hear
I
me
hear
now?
you. I'm just saying.
Oh, you
That's
can't
the
hear me?
only way
Oh,
I know
okay,
you're
okay.
not talking or you're listening
Oh,
because by your face, because
got you,
I'm hearing your
got you.
voice
Oh, I
nonstop.
got you, because of the repeat. Yeah, yeah, I got you, I got you. Um,
But
yeah, yeah.
I was definitely influenced by Prince and Michael Jackson, of course. So I was definitely
Hmm.
influenced by Prince because, like I said, I grew up. I wasn't around other musicians, so I was like, I need to learn how to play a lot of instruments because I don't have nobody to play with. So I need to be able to play the parts. And then, seeing that and hearing that he played all the instruments, that
Yeah,
definitely influenced me because I got to.
yeah, yeah. You have no other choice. One man band, literally. So and kind of going back when you were on the road, with Ask Outcast, and and performing in front of all these people, was it like? Were you like? How did that make you feel? Were you like, yo, this is dope? Like this is it, or how was that feeling when you get in front of all these people and just helping move the whole thing? How was that feeling?
I mean, it definitely became kind of normal after a while, but I mean, looking back, I mean, I can't complain other than if it was my own shit or something, but we,
Hmm.
still contributed to
Hmm.
what they were doing and,
Yeah.
wrote on some songs and played on them. So we were on it. Wasn't like we didn't have nothing to do with it. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it was definitely a cool time because we were going
Hmm.
everywhere. We were going all over the world and
Yeah.
going to Europe, all the time. We used to go to
Hmm.
Germany all the time. We did every show at least 2 times probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we did
Yeah.
the Grammys 2 times, then every
Hmm.
award show, and every time they said best duo or group, we knew who was gonna win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was definitely a fun time. But like I say, it was a lot going on behind the scenes with me
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Peach.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
I have no complaints about any of that.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's for you and Peach both to be doing what you were doing and still performing and having to deal with your the health issues. That says a lot about both y'all's character, man. So
I mean,
rest
yeah,
in
we were
peace
on
to
the
the sister
road
Peach.
because
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes she was getting chemo and she would just fly back, fly home, and then fly back out. So
Mhm.
nobody really knew.
Mhm.
Just a few people,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. So, and what about the new music? You putting out stuff? Is it kind of like trying to, like you said earlier, putting out old stuff? Are you thinking about putting out new stuff? You want to do what type of projects you got going on now?
I'm trying to put all the shit out.
All of it.
I got one thing on my bucket list, and that's and that's it. Put every song out on that I like out. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting out my own solo stuff. So that's kind of been the hold up is kind of I'm just doing everything myself. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but I'm putting out Wild Peach stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
I mean I'm working with a lady now who supposed to be helping me get all this off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So we are saying May is the launch day. So
Okay.
we're
Okay.
gonna see.
Okay. All right. All right.
But I have I have hundreds of songs, and I just want to put them out in the world and see what happens.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean, it's a
You
different
know.
day now. Of course, music is not
Mhm.
like it was when we were coming through. Because back then,
Yeah.
when we had our deal, I mean, you had to be on a record company, pretty much to be seen or heard. So the way the world is now, you just never know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And it's interesting because that's one thing me and Brian were talking about when he was on the podcast. We were just talking about how just the independent aspect of the way music is like, you know, you can just have a hit put out yourself. Next thing you
Well,
know,
if
it's on
people
two.
bought shit, then
Hmm.
it would be a lot better.
Yeah. Fair point. Besides 99
That
cents
that was that was
song.
so that was so that would solve a lot of shit if everybody just
Yeah.
bought the shit they listen to. At least you ain't got to buy it but one time and listen to it how many times you want to. I mean, it costs but a
Yep.
fucking dollar.
Yeah. At 99 cents. There you go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It is interesting how this stuff is shaped and changed. But and truth be told, that's another reason why I'm motivated very heavily still today by the David Wilds, the Kenito Murrays, the Larry Eaglins, you know what I'm saying? The Billy Fields, I'm motivated because I know these people like out there that make good music, and it's like, yo, they still kicking, man. Shoot, I wanna, what I'm saying? Why stop? You know what I'm saying? That's what's motivating me to, get ready to do this music
Well, that's the
thing
thing
again.
about music. I always said when I was growing up, I was like, I want to do music because you just do it till you can't anymore.
Hmm. That's true. That's very true. Yep. Because you can just keep on rolling with it, man. I agree 100%. I agree 100%, man.
And
Mm.
it's I mean, it's supposed to be art where it ain't really no. I mean, I don't know where people got the rules and shit, but I would think it'd be no rules other than I guess if you just out of tune and shit. But hell, people be out of
Yeah,
tune
yeah,
all the
yeah.
fucking time now.
Oh yeah. And not even,
So
yeah, not
that
even,
don't
not
matter
even
anymore
caring.
either.
Yeah, but to say, not even caring about that. Mm. It's changed, man. But like, I think a huge thing is, still as far as an individual, individuals that are old school, just coming out with this thing and showing what people like what real music is about. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a very important thing in this day and time, man. And if there's always rebirths and recycles of things, it's in how important music is. I think that is a very important thing that should cycle back around. Just the artistry of live music. I mean, you can have all this, all this electronic music and all this stuff, et cetera. But the art of live music, live music making, and etc. You know what I mean? I think that that's an important thing, and I feel as though it is coming back around. You know what I'm saying?
Well, people have asked me about that, and I'm like, that's all they can do because I mean, you can't get no. I mean, you already got one person on stage with a computer. And shit. Next,
Yeah, yeah,
only thing you can do
hmm
is just have a computer up there
yeah, exactly.
doing whatever the
Now they're
fuck they
gone.
want to do. Other than
Yeah,
that, you gotta that ain't new anymore. So it's like you can't go any further with that. So
yeah,
only thing you
yeah,
can do is have a bunch of niggas on stage playing the shit in your
yeah,
face.
yeah. That's it.
That'll be new. That'll be new now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, that's true. You know what I'm saying? Because when's the last time it's just I don't know. I don't know. Next
Well,
thing they're gonna have,
it's
they got
not doing. It's not
AI.
happening because people just fucking greedy and shit, and
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah, and lazy.
share whatever they getting with with other folks or musicians or
Mm-hmm.
whatever they can get away with by
Mm-hmm.
not, if I can get away with not having anybody playing and I just have push a button and shit,
Yep.
and people gonna come. Why,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Why stop? Why stop? Yeah. Why stop? It's true. That's just the way of the world. In it. You know what I'm saying? And it's
So
so
it's like
interesting. I was
people
just.
gotta. It's up to the audience to change a lot of that shit. All they gotta do is say, "Well, we want to go. This is what we want to see. We want to see everybody playing. We don't want to see you push a button and shit and make some shit up. I mean, that's cool too, but the audience dictate kind of what's going on. I mean, if you accept some crazy shit, I mean, they gonna keep doing crazy shit.
They're gonna keep. Yep. As long as they're getting paid. That's a valid point, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever sells, pretty much. Whatever sells. Well, man, I'm hoping there's a rebirth. You know what I'm saying? I'm hope that nostalgia, good music comes back. Because we still got a lot of people out here that are still very good at that. You know what I'm saying? And we got to support. Literally got to support individuals like you that's putting out that
Well,
type of
that's the
music.
key
You know what I'm
thing
saying?
too is
Yeah.
supporting people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you support people with money,
Yeah.
not just looking.
Yeah.
I guess
Mm-hmm.
it helps if you got a
Buying.
million views. I guess that'll help and that'll add up some kind of way. But still, when
Yeah.
it comes
Yeah.
down to it, the only way to keep shit going or make something happen is somebody gotta believe in it and put their money behind it to make it go further.
Yeah. Yep. Valid point. That's the yeah, that's yeah, that's the world we're in now. When that's a very very valid point. So are you optimistic about the way music is going?
Me
Are you
optimistic.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, optimistic is pertaining to who?
Shoot.
I mean,
Are
also be optimistic in the masses of the world.
mm-hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but as far as I think at some point people will get tired of the same shit. At some point, I mean, nothing lasts
Yeah.
forever, and shit always change. So,
Yeah.
like you're saying, having musicians, I can't. I don't know if I can use it being optimistic, but
Uh-huh.
it seems like that's the only way to go. So I'm hopeful
Yeah.
that some
Hopefully.
sense happens in the world and that happens. But I mean, it's
Somebody
a
in the
lot
chat
of
said nope.
the world's full of fucking nuts and shit. So I don't really
Yeah.
know what I don't expect much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if everybody, people really think shit out and but it come down to what people like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is it's a strange thing for me to still embrace because, like, as a musician, if you want to record something and you're really serious about, oh, I want this guitar tone to sound a certain way. I want this bass to sound right. I want, you know what I'm saying, the intricacies of music, that we all grew up on, and hearing that stuff and maybe want to replicate it and make it better, but and having to do that hands on as opposed to now, people trying to do stuff, just with computers, and it's taking that whole element out of it. You know what I mean? So it's flat now. You know what I'm saying? It's less human involvement and emotion to it. I see that a lot. I think that's another reason why I'm so drawn to doing more live music, and so drawn away from new, just like fake electronic music. I mean, if you want to call it that, but what I'm saying. The electronic music. Um,
Well, I mean, if somebody's playing the shit, then that's one thing. But if
hmm
if you just hitting a button and then I mean, it's still being creative. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, and they're all right.
I
They
mean,
are.
I
You're
know
right.
people who say something about different producers and different musicians, and I'm like, shit. I done heard musicians dog out somebody say, man, that nigga he can't play shit. But I'm
hmm
like, a producer, it could be a producer, and I'm like, well, he hears shit though. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not.
so
Yeah,
he hear how
he
it
can
need to
produce it.
go,
Yep.
and
hmm
you might can play your ass off, but you can't
You can't produce
write
it.
a hit song for shit. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yep.
everybody got their own talent. So I don't
Yeah.
really look any kind of way at somebody if they can't play as much. I mean, it's really what come out of your mind when it come down to
hmm
it. I mean, shit, somebody could just tell somebody what to play if they telling them. I mean, I don't have somebody tell me each note and shit they want played. I'm like, well, shit. I mean, I'm playing it, but you really wrote it because I'm just playing what you told me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all kind of ways to do shit.
hmm
So, but as far as live shows,
hmm
I mean, how you come up with something is one thing, but as far as seeing live music, I mean, it ain't live if it's on a computer.
Yeah. Yep. There's no way around that. And you can't duplicate or replicate that. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
for
Even
one,
I
you
mean,
can.
mhm.
I mean, you can change up shit. I mean, a DJ can switch up shit too. But I'm just saying, just like in the '70s with the bands, the more people, if you have 5 people flipping shit, then ain't no telling, you got more options.
Mhm. Yeah. No. That's very interesting. Well, all I'm gonna say is this. I hope the renaissance comes back. I hope there's a renaissance of new live music. You know what I'm saying? I hope that you know people can really appreciate people taking the music and from their soul and giving it to the world. You know what I'm saying? I hope that comes back. You know what I'm saying, for individual like you, individuals me, and our brothers and sisters that that's all they know is how to do. I really hope that comes back, man. You know what I'm
Well, the
saying?
main thing is it's got to be some places, where you can go see it too. I mean, I don't.
Mhm.
It was a lot more venues that I know of back in the '90s where
Yeah.
bands were playing, so it was more
Mhm.
going on. I don't even know who's really doing anything. I don't really be out and about like that either, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't see as much going on. I mean, I'll be on social media, so I still don't see that much going on. And where you would think you would see anything that's going on, you would hear about it some kind of way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it used to be more venues for one. So then, like I said, nobody. It's hard to do a lot of shit if it's not paying. So it's hard to have
Mhm.
a band if you ain't
Mhm.
making enough money to pay them, or if the club,
Yeah.
don't want to pay you, or
Mhm.
take some
Mhm.
of their money from the bar and pay the band
Yeah.
just so they can have a band and get some shit going. So
It's changed tremendously. It's changed so much, man. And I I know some of my friends, you know, that were making 17 G's a show, literally. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, COVID hits And you know what I'm saying, for the next 2 years, they ain't doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. The whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole livelihood changed, the whole life changed. And then after, and it slowly started coming back, but it's like from what I'm told, it's like a lot of these people say it's like it'll never be the same. You know what I'm saying? And these are,
Well, it kind of seemed like that, and I definitely know about that because it's definitely
yep,
I'm not nowhere as busy as I used to be as far
yeah,
as when it comes to playing acts. Maybe depend on what you want to do, but
yeah, mhm,
I mean, depending on what circuit you're on. I mean, if you're on the top 40 circuit playing shit, or you playing out of time, or if you play at church every Sunday, or shit, I mean, you probably
yeah,
playing out of
yeah,
time.
yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And I ain't
Certain
really doing none of
genres,
that.
yeah, certain genres, no, it's just not there no more. You know what I'm saying? Man,
Well,
so
I mean, are there any rock and roll clubs and shit that rock and roll bands play? I mean, I don't even know if there's
I mean,
never mind like black music or whatever. It's like even is that
just in
even going
general.
on?
I mean, I from what I've heard in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying. I've heard. I think the Star Bar's still open. I think the Masquerade's still doing their thing. I even hear. I think Apache's still doing their thing. And these are just some of the names that I've known people that have performed there fairly recently. With Apache, I think the Apache switched to somewhere else, but you know, I mean, I think there's still places out there. You had to do your intel and find out where it's popping at. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, to be honest, I haven't really been checking shit out, but it just
Hmm.
don't. I don't really hear too many people doing that much
Yeah, yeah,
like it used to
yeah,
be.
yeah,
I
yeah.
used to know
No,
people that was playing once a week, different venues and shit, playing their own
hmm
music.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Oh man. All right. All I can do is I hope this art, this art and this whole I hope there's a resurgence. That's all I can say. But you know, this is this is one of the reasons why I love to do these melanated music episodes is because individuals like Wild, myself, these individuals I've owned, it's to hear their story, you know, and to hear their story and hear the way they progressed, the way that they live life when it came to music, to hear, the success, the struggle, you know what I'm saying? I think it's very important to people to hear these type of stories, man, because everything ain't fairy tales. Everything ain't everything's not easy. You know what I'm saying? This shit is hard, man, and it's just I think people really should hear the real truth about how it is playing this black music or this melanated music. You know what I'm saying? So, brother David Wild, I applaud you. And number one, and everything you've done, all your accomplishments, and even your future accomplishment, and you as a stand-up individual and a good brother, you know what I'm saying? It was a pleasure having you on here, and I would definitely love to have you in the near future about some other topics. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you much, brother.
Well, thanks for having me, Zoe, sir. And
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, when I have my shit out, then have me back then so I can play some stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, and hopefully, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, excuse me. Hopefully, you and I can link up together and make some magic. I would really like that. So we're gonna see. Have to take it old school on them, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but but
Shit,
that's
I might need to get
good.
open up, have some venue with some shit going on all the time.
Oh, I got a spot. We gonna talk. I got a spot. I got a spot. We just wait for him to get Oh, of Sadiq's like you talking about. We just got they renovating it, so we're gonna stop popping with that hard in the late spring, early summer, man. So, but we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. We're gonna get it back alive, man. We're gonna get it back alive. But that's it for me on mine. You got anything else for the folks? Please, David, tell them where they can find you and all that good information before we leave.
Well, some of the stuff I have coming up, I don't know how it's going to come out because I'm working with some other folks, but I will announce it on IG or Facebook or
Hmm.
social media to let you know
Hmm.
when it's coming out. And I can't wait. I'm just trying to I can't wait to stir some shit up now. Who's gonna hear it is another story.
Well, hopefully we'll all make it a point that
Yeah, I need
every
everybody to share the shit with
everybody, yeah, exactly.
whomever they know.
Exactly. Share it. Share the word. Just like this show. Share this episode. Follow,
They
like,
might have to
share
be
Polka Dot Records.
stimulating enough, to make people want to do it. So, I can't
Yeah.
just be doing any fucking thing. But
Yeah, 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 yeah,
just
yeah.
know
Well,
it's gonna be melodic and funky.
okay. All right. That's a good combination in my eyes. So I always liked the music that you did. I've always, I love just the feel of it. So I'm sure it's gonna be amazing, man. But that's it for me. Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. Like I said, go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com. Check out my book. Got another one on the way. And that's it. And please stay in tune for future Polka Dot Rabbit podcast episodes. And the Melinated music episodes on Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Check us out. YouTube, subscribe, and IG. I see a lot of y'all followed. Appreciate that. If you haven't, please follow the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Share this, and share this information. The show to David Wild, because he does have some great music coming out soon. So that's it. Peace and love, everybody. And me and you and David, we'll see y'all in the future. Peace.
All right, peace.
Let's see. Hold on one second, Dave. Let me